Okay, I've begun raising up the deck for the engine support. Let me grab one of them over here. Basically, you're going to wind up, if I can keep it steady, with two side-by-side here, and then another layer with two side-by-side. It's actually going to wind up extending it lower than the keel, but that's alright. I've built up this section with balsa. I'll probably skin these. Still not sure how I want to deal with filling all of this, but that's what planning and guesswork's for. And we're back with a quick update. Up here at the front, I've filled in the major gaps. Still have the little triangles here to fill. These pieces of tape, mostly holding the panel in place until I go through and actually fill the seams here. These pieces were actually holding this piece down, but I'll probably just cut them off here since I've glued the other panel in place. Also started framing in the back with the fill panels. Stay with me. Alright, back at it with a little more work. On the engine assemblies, I've gone in, as you can see, and added some depth to the engine housings. This will let me skin it easier and give me some more stability when I go to mount the engines to the main hull. On the main hull, I've also gone in and put in skin panels here and here. I've trimmed the tape off the front from the earlier update. Got the corners in. Let me move the camera up so you can see that a little better. Got the corners in. Obviously there's going to be some serious filling needed to be done there, but let's face it, there's going to be some serious filling all across this hull. At this point, slowly but surely, next thing will be to kind of get a test feel of where the engines are going to sit, and that'll figure out what I need to do to skin back here. Some of the filling here I'm going to need to do before I place the engines. Stay with me. Alright, it's been a busy couple of hours here at the workshop, and let me show you why. What you see here, amidst all the black electrical tape as a clamp, is the skins around the perimeter of the ship. So I can do the major seam filling before starting the work on the engines. At this point I've got to let this sit, and I'll take the tape off and start working on some of these seams. Some aren't too bad. I will also need, as I figured I would, to go in and trim the taper on the fan mounts, but my Dremel should make relatively short work of that. Stay with me. Alright, continuing what's been a fairly productive day so far. As you can see, I've taken the tape off and started seam filling along the perimeter. Most of the work on the top side right now. What we've got here is a whole bunch of Bondo spot putty. Been seeing a lot of the guys on the at SMA using it. Decided I'd give it a try considering my lack of success with Squadron in the past. Gotta let that sit, and then we'll see about sanding and see where things go from there. Alright, we are back at this. This time we're looking at the bottom of the ship. And yeah, she kind of looks like she's made out of Bondo at this point. A couple of the seams I haven't worried too much about because they're fairly tight. But as you can see, there's a lot of Bondo on the bottom of this hull. But give that some time to cure, and we'll get her going for sure. Stay with me. Alright, what I've got here is the engine assemblies for Columbia. As you can see, I've shrouded them in sheet styrene, and initially to clamp them together, and now I think to add some detail to them, what I've done is run a strip of just your basic electrical tape around each of the 4 pods. Got them sitting here in roughly the alignment they'll have on the ship. Have to deal with the Bondo mess on the ship though before I can get around to actually installing them. Stay with me. Back at it. This time following a bunch of sanding. Yeah, like an hour's worth just about. As you can see, most of the seams here are taken care of. I went ahead and left the electrical tape on the ship and just filled around it to help keep these sections closed. But as you can see, we are pretty much ready to start the next level. After consulting with my son, I've decided rather than trying to put all 4 of these engine blocks on, we're only going to run with 3 set pretty much like so. Because if I put all 4 of these on the way I originally intended, fans 5 and 6 are going to have an engine hanging about halfway over them, which wouldn't work. Stay with me.